You might wear the robe, Judge, but you clearly don't understand the reality of law enforcement. Yeah. Where exactly do you think you're going, Judge?
Out of my way, officer. That is an order.
Sharp and cold. Hey, you. Step aside, the officer said. Officer Kane's boots thudded toward her like warning shots. His jaw was locked, eyes narrowed with the kind of focus that made everyone else in line back away. Maya froze. Her heart kicked against her ribs. I said step aside, Kane repeated. Bag on the table. Hands visible. No sudden moves. His tone wasn't protocol, it was suspicion. It was accusation. It was targeting. Maya placed her bag down slowly. I'm just trying to get to a hearing. He snorted. Yeah? And I'm the mayor. Don't get cute with me. People stared. Some looked sorry. Most looked afraid to intervene. Kane snapped his gloves on. Let's see what you're hiding. I'm late, Maya whispered, throat tight. You'll be later, he said. You people always got an excuse. The words hit harder than the rain outside. Maya swallowed. Sir, I have credentials. You can show them after I'm done teaching you how to follow rules. Kane unzipped her bag with a jerk. He stopped. His eyes widened. Inside lay a black leather case, holding a district judge's ID badge. Maya opened her mouth to speak. But Kane slammed the bag shut and leaned closer. You're not fooling anyone. And then, the courthouse alarm suddenly blared. The alarm screamed through the courthouse like metal tearing in half. People froze mid-step. Papers dropped. A woman gasped. A man stumbled backward into a bench. An Officer Kane turned straight toward Maya Carter. There it is, he said. You triggered it. Maya flinched. What? I didn't touch anything. Don't lie to me, Kane snapped, stepping closer. Bag on the table. Hands up. My bag is already. Higher. Maya raised her hands. Her chest tightened with humiliation and rising fear. The alarm kept wailing, red lights pulsing across the marble walls. I need you to listen, she said softly. I have a hearing. Not anymore, you don't. He circled her like she was a threat. People kept watching, whispering, stepping away to avoid being associated with her. A second officer jogged over. What's going on? Kane jerked his chin at Maya. Suspicious behavior. Ignored commands. Possible tampering with security devices. Maya's pulse jumped. That's not true. I was just trying to enter. The second officer frowned at her. Why would you set off an alarm? I didn't. Kane scoffed. They never say they did. A fresh sting hit her at they. Not even subtle. She tried again. Officer, I have credentials. They're in my case. Yeah, that shiny fake badge. Kane shot back. You think I'm stupid? It's not fake. Sure, he said, voice dripping with sarcasm. And I'm the president. The second officer stepped in front of her, blocking her from the exit. Protocol says we evacuate, Maya insisted. The alarm. Kane waved the idea away. She's staying put. Flight risk. I'm not a. You think I didn't see you get nervous when I opened that bag? Kane leaned close. People carrying real IDs don't flinch. Maya swallowed hard. You scared me. Good. Her breath hitched. The second officer shifted awkwardly. Should we move her to the holding bench? Kane grinned. Exactly what I was thinking. Maya's stomach flipped. Wait, why? I haven't done anything. You resisted. I didn't. You raised your voice. That's not, you're doing it again. Every time she spoke, he twisted it into disobedience. A clerk hurried through the lobby, pushing through the crowd. Officer Kane. We need people outside. Not her, Kane barked. The clerk stopped, confused, eyes flicking to Maya. Recognition sparked. Is everything okay, Judge? Kane's hand clamped around the clerk's arm. Stay out of this, Kane growled. The clerk winced. I was just. Out, Kane snapped. Now. The clerk glanced at Maya, panic rising. He opened his mouth again. Kane squeezed harder. I said out. The clerk stumbled backward toward the door, clutching his arm, terrified to say another word. Maya's heart slammed against her ribs. He was about to blow her cover, and Kane had stopped him. For the first time, She wondered if this situation was spiraling beyond humiliation and into danger. The alarm finally cut off, but the silence that followed felt even louder. Maya stood in the center of the lobby, hands still raised, every eye locked on her. Officer Kane paced in front of her like he was guarding a captured fugitive. The second officer, Martinez, shifted uncomfortably. "Do we have confirmation she caused the alarm?" Kane didn't miss a beat. "Of course she did." Martinez hesitated. "But how?" "Use your eyes," Kane snapped. "She got nervous. Fumbled her bag. Probably trying to sneak something through." Maya shook her head. "I didn't fumble anything. You rushed me." Kane's jaw flexed. "There you go again. Blaming me." "I'm telling the truth. You people always are, here." A sharp breath left her. "Officer Kane, please don't speak to me like that." "Like what?" Kane raised his eyebrows. "Firmly? Clearly? Professionally?" Maya stared at him, stunned. "That's not what I meant." "That's exactly what you meant." He turned to Martinez. Escalating tone. "Look at her posture. Defensive." "My posture?" Maya whispered. "I'm standing exactly where you told me." Kane smiled like that proved his point. A smile with teeth. A smile meant to show control. "Martinez," he said, "grab a detainment form." Martinez blinked. "For, huh? Do you see another problem in this lobby?" Martinez swallowed and jogged to the side desk. Maya's heartbeat thudded painfully in her ears. "Officer Kane. Listen. I have a hearing in. You're not going anywhere. You don't understand." "I understand perfectly." His gaze slid down her clothes, her hair, her hands, fast, judgmental, cataloging her like clothing tags. "You walked in here acting entitled. Like we should just wave you through." "I never said that." Kane stepped closer. "You didn't have to." A few bystanders murmured. One woman whispered, "This is getting out of hand." Kane snapped his head toward them. "Anyone want to join her in processing?" Silence. Eyes dropped. Everyone looked away. Martinez returned with the form. "Sir, this is normally for." "Hand it to me." Martinez obeyed, eyes low. Kane turned back to Maya and slapped the paper down on the table. "Name. Address. Reason for being here." Maya stared at the form. It was the kind they used for criminal suspects before escorting them to the basement holding area. "I'm not filling that out," she said. Kane leaned in so close she felt his breath. "You're going to do exactly what I tell you." Her voice trembled. "I've done nothing wrong." "You set off an alarm." "I didn't." "You resisted instructions." "I didn't." "You're resisting again." He twisted every word she spoke into another violation. Maya lowered her hands slowly, palms open, showing she wasn't a threat. "Officer Kane. I have an ID. It's in my case. Just let me show. No more fake credentials." "They're not fake, you're done talking." Her lungs tightened. Fear mixed with anger in her chest, a trembling heat rising through her ribs. A teenager in the back whispered, "She looks scared." Kane barked, "Everyone quiet." Maya took a slow breath. "Officer Kane, you're making a mistake." Kane smirked. "If I had $1 every time one of you said that, I'd retire in Mexico." Martinez's head snapped up, eyes widening at the blatant line, but he stayed silent. Maya's throat tightened. Another microaggression. Another assumption. Another cut she was supposed to swallow quietly. She tried again. "Just look at the badge. Please. It will explain everything." "No." Kane tapped the form. "Start writing." "I can't." "You can. And you will." "No," she said quietly. "I won't." Kane's voice dropped into a lower, more dangerous tone. "Do you want to be arrested?" "For what?" "I'll think of something." Her breath hitched. "You can't threaten." "I can do whatever I need to keep this courthouse safe." Maya closed her eyes for half a second, grounding herself. "I'm not a threat. You're a disruption. I'm a citizen. You're a problem. You're about 2 seconds from cuffs." Another sting. Another escalation. Another trap. Martinez stepped forward tentatively. "Sir, maybe we should wait for the all clear before escalating." Kane turned on him. "You questioning my judgment?" "No. I just..." "You want to take her?" Kane asked, gesturing at Maya. "You want to be responsible for her?" Martinez froze. No, sir. That's what I thought. Kane looked back at Maya with a chilling sense of victory. A man in a suit approached cautiously. Officer, I believe there's been a misunderstanding. She was speaking with the clerk earlier and... Kane raised a hand sharply. Sir, step back. I just think maybe... Step back. The man stepped back. Everyone was afraid of Kane's authority. Everyone but Maya, though she felt that fear clawing at her throat too. Kane pressed the form closer to her. Last chance. Maya straightened. I'm not signing a criminal form. I'm here for a court proceeding. And you are preventing me from reaching it. Good, he said. Makes my job easier. That line cut deeper than all the others. Before Maya could respond, the radios on both offices crackled. Lobby units, report status. Identify the source of alarm. Martinez reached for his radio. Kane slapped his hand away. I'll respond, Kane growled. He grabbed the radio. Lobby secure. Suspect detained. Possible evasion attempt. Maya's mouth fell open. That's not what. Quiet, Kane said, not even looking at her. Martinez looked horrified. Sir, that's not, she didn't. But before he could finish, Kane shoved the detainment form into Maya's chest. Sign it, he said, or I'll make sure the next room you see has bars. Maya stared at the form, pulse pounding. She had one choice left, one she didn't want to use yet. But Kane was forcing it. She reached for her case. Kane's hand slammed down onto it. Touch that, he said softly, and you'll regret it. And right then, the lobby doors flew open. A group of 3 senior clerks rushed in, faces frantic. Maya. You're late, Judge Carter, we've been looking. Kane spun around. His face went white. Morning sunlight hit Malik's eyes like a slap as he stepped out of the station. No apology. No explanation. Just a curt, you're released pending verification, and a stack of paperwork that said nothing and implied everything. Lewis's old Honda beeped twice from the curb. The passenger window rolled down. Get in, Lewis said, gripping the wheel so tightly his knuckles whitened. His face was pale with fury. Malik opened the door and sank into the seat. Exhaustion pulled at every muscle. Lewis pulled away from the curb with a jerk. I swear, Chef, if that cop shows up at the restaurant again. Lewis, Malik said quietly, just drive. Lewis swallowed hard. You okay? Malik leaned his head back against the seat. I'm out. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. They drove in silence, the city sliding past in soft, early morning blur. Small cafes unlocking doors. Delivery trucks rumbling. A world continuing exactly as it had before Malik was shoved into a patrol car. When they reached Lumiere, the building's sleek facade was almost jarring. Polished marble, gold trim, elegant logo etched into glass. Too pristine. Too calm. Malik stepped out and stared at it for a long moment. Then he walked inside. The kitchen was already buzzing with prep work. Stainless steel counters gleamed, knives clattered softly, the aroma of onions and roasted stock filled the air. But the moment Malik walked in, conversation stilled. Eyes lifted. Then darted away. Jenna, one of the junior chefs, whispered to another line cook. Lewis caught it. Say it louder, he snapped. Malik touched his arm. Leave it. He walked to his station. His knife roll sat exactly where he'd left it last night. He unrolled it slowly, chef's knife, paring knife, boning knife, steel aligned perfectly, edges maintained with discipline. His hand steadied for the first time since the arrest. The kitchen door swung open. Daniel entered. Lewis muttered, "Here we go." Daniel offered a nervous smile. "Malik, can we talk?" "No," Malik said without looking up. "Malik, come on. Last night was... You hung up on me." "I was trying to protect the restaurant," Daniel insisted. "We can't make statements without corporate approval. It's procedure." Malik lifted his gaze. Procedure. Good word. Sounds clean. Empty. Daniel flushed. People were asleep. I didn't have authority. And I didn't know the whole situation. You knew enough to choose silence. The room went so quiet the simmering stockpot became the loudest sound. Lewis whispered, "Facts." Daniel fidgeted. "A critic is here, by the way. Asked to speak to the owner." Malik blinked once. "The owner?" "Yes," Daniel said. "Apparently he's been trying to confirm something for a piece he's writing. I told him you weren't available last night. Malik didn't respond. Lewis smirked darkly. Wonder why? Daniel clasped his hands. You can meet him now if you want. But you look arrested, Malik said sharply. Daniel flinched. Tired. You look tired. Malik set his chef's knife down. Send him to the dining room. Daniel nodded and retreated quickly. When he left, Lewis leaned close. Chef, you sure you want to deal with press right now? Malik wiped the blade, thinking. No. But hiding won't help. You think this critic knows? Lewis asked. Everyone in this city knows something by morning, Malik said. He stepped out of the kitchen and into the hushed elegance of the dining room. Crystal glasses sparkled in early light. The critic, silver hair, thin glasses, and analytical calm, stood near table 7, examining the art on the wall. He turned as Malik approached. Chef Walker? Malik nodded. The critic smiled faintly. I wanted to verify something for a feature. People say Lumiere's excellence comes from a mysterious visionary who founded it. That person is you? Yes, Malik said. The critic blinked, then nodded again. Impressive. Many assumed the owner was a different profile. There it was, coded, distant, but present. Profiles are often wrong, Malik said. The critic cleared his throat. Indeed. Well, I look forward to another visit soon. Enjoy your day. He left without mentioning the arrest. Either he hadn't heard, or he hadn't chose neutrality. Both possibilities irritated Malik. He walked back toward the kitchen, only for the front door to open again. A man in a charcoal suit stepped inside, checking his watch. Corporate. Investor. Malik recognized him instantly, Adrian Royce, partner from the expansion board. Lewis whispered from behind him, What the hell is he doing here? Adrian approached with a quick, polished smile. Malik. Good to see you. We need a moment. Malik's pulse quickened. Now. Yes. Something came across my desk late last night. Of course it had. Adrian lowered his voice. Police report involving suspicious activity behind Lumiere. Your name attached. I need clarity. Lewis muttered, Clarity? They kidnapped him. Malik raised a hand, stopping him. Let's talk in the office. Inside, Adrian shut the door gently. Is this manageable? Or should we prepare for damage control? It's manageable, Malik said. The officer fabricated everything. Adrian sighed. That complicates things. A false report can snowball. Investors hate volatility. This isn't volatility, Malik said. It's racism. Adrian didn't react. We just want to preserve the brand. The brand exists because of me. Yes, Adrian admitted. But public perception. Public perception, Malik repeated quietly. Not justice. Adrian straightened his jacket. Look, I believe you. But we need to be careful. There's nothing careful about what happened last night. A tense pause. Can you keep this contained? Adrian asked. Without press? Without escalation? No, Malik said plainly. Because the officer isn't done. Adrian's jaw tightened. If this turns into a public issue, corporate will have to distance itself. Malik laughed once, humorless. You can't distance yourself from your owner. Adrian froze. Owner? Yes, Malik said. I'm not just the chef. I hold majority equity. Lumiere is mine. Shock washed over Adrian's face. I didn't know that detail, he said slowly. Most don't, Malik replied. I wanted the food to speak louder than the title. Adrian swallowed. Then, the decision is yours. It always was. The office felt too small. Too quiet. The truth had shifted the ground under everyone's feet. A knock sounded at the door. Chef? Jenna's voice. There's a police officer here. Asking for management. Malik and Lewis exchanged looks. Not again. Malik stepped toward the door, each breath steady, controlled. Which officer? He asked. Guy with blonde hair, Jenna said. Square jaw. Looks angry. Braddock. Of course it was Braddock. He had come into Malik's world now, not as a patrol officer in an alley, but as an intruder in a place Malik built with his own hands. Malik exhaled once. Let him wait, he said. I'll handle it. But as he stepped into the hallway, Malik felt a cold understanding settle in his chest. This wasn't escalating. It had already escalated. and Braddock had no intention of backing down. The courtroom lights felt colder than the hallway, white, sharp, humming overhead like they were judging everyone beneath them. Maya stepped inside slowly, each heel click echoing like a countdown. Every seat was full. Attorneys, reporters, a few witnesses from other cases waiting to be called. And, right near the front, Officer Dalton. He sat with his arms crossed, legs spread wide, like the room belonged to him. The moment his eyes landed on Maya, his mouth twisted. "Unbelievable," he muttered. "Can't even keep these people out of courtrooms now." She heard it. Everyone heard it. But she didn't flinch. She walked past him, chin high, hands steady. Dalton smirked. "Hey," he called out, loud enough for half the room, "you lost? Judge's chair ain't down here. Cleaning staff goes through the back." A few people shifted uncomfortably. A few didn't even look up. Maya stopped. Turned slightly. Looked right at him. "I know exactly where I'm supposed to be," she said quietly. Dalton laughed like she told a joke. "Yeah, well, sit tight. Judge'll be here soon. Someone like you better hope she's nice." The bailiff entered through the side door. "All rise," he announced. Dalton stood lazily, adjusting his badge like he was about to show off. The courtroom rose. But Maya didn't head to the public seating. She walked straight toward the judge's entrance. Dalton blinked. "What? Where do you think you're going?" Maya kept walking. The bailiff held the door open for her with a small nod of respect. Dalton's eyes widened. "Hold up, hey. She can't go back there." No one answered him. Maya disappeared through the door. Dalton's face flushed red. "This is ridiculous. Someone stop her." The bailiff stepped forward, voice firm. "Sir, please take your seat." Dalton scoffed. "Seat? I'm the arresting officer on today's docket." The bailiff didn't move. "And the judge will decide how this proceeding goes. Sit." Dalton hesitated, then sat, jaw tight. Minutes passed. Whispers grew. Who was she? Did you see the way she walked in? Is she in trouble? Dalton rubbed his temples, muttering, should have cuffed her longer. The courtroom door behind the bench opened. Everyone turned. Maya stepped out, no coat now, no hesitation, wearing her full judicial robe. The room went silent. Dead silent. She walked with calm certainty to the bench. Took her seat. Placed her notes down. Dalton's mouth dropped open. What is this?" Maya lifted her gavel once, gently tapping it. "Court is now in session." A ripple of shock swept across the room. Dalton choked. You're the judge." Maya's eyes met his. Steady. Cold. Controlled. "Yes, Officer Dalton," she said. "I am." He sank back, speechless. Maya cleared her throat, addressing the courtroom. "Before we begin today's docket, I need to address an incident that occurred outside this courtroom between myself and the arresting officer." Dalton straightened. "Judge, this is all a misunderstanding." Maya held up her hand. "You will speak when I tell you to speak." His jaw snapped shut. Gasps rippled through the spectators. Maya continued, "This court will not tolerate misconduct, harassment, or discriminatory treatment in this building, regardless of who the target is." Dalton swallowed hard. One attorney whispered to another, "Oh, he's done." Maya's voice stayed level. "Officer Dalton, step forward." He rose slowly. "Judge, I didn't know who you were." "That," Maya said, "is precisely the problem." He stood there breathing hard, eyes darting around, searching for an escape. Maya leaned forward slightly. "Officer Dalton, this court has received numerous complaints involving your conduct toward black women during traffic stops. Today's behavior aligns with a disturbing pattern." Dalton stiffened. "Those complaints weren't proven." "Not yet," she said. "But as of this moment, every one of those reports is being reopened." The courtroom buzzed like a shaken hive. Dalton's voice rose. "You can't, this is personal. This is retaliation. This," Maya said sharply, "is accountability." He pointed at her. "You're trying to ruin my career." She didn't flinch. "Officer, you did that yourself." The bailiff took one step forward, ready. Dalton looked around desperately. "This is insane. She's biased, there's no way she should preside over my case." "This is not your case," Maya replied. "This is a docket review. And your duty here was to answer questions honestly and professionally." He shook his head violently. No way. You're setting me up. Maya tapped her pen lightly, calming herself. Then, Officer Dalton, return to your seat. He hesitated. Now, she repeated. He obeyed, jaw clenching so tight a muscle twitched. Maya turned to the room. Let today serve as a reminder. This court sees everything. And justice will be served, regardless of rank or uniform. A soft murmur of approval rippled through the room. Dalton glared daggers at her, cold, calculating, dangerous. Maya marked something in her file. Then she looked up again. Officer Dalton, please stay after today's session. We're not finished. Dalton's face paled. What does that mean? It means, she said softly, there are consequences. Dalton's hands curled into fists. And then, a reporter in the back raised her camera. Click. Dalton flinched. Maya lifted her gaze to the journalist, stern but controlled. Cameras are not permitted during preliminary hearings. The reporter lowered it, apologetic. Sorry, Your Honor. It's just, this is a story. Dalton stiffened. Maya's heartbeat quickened. Because she knew, this wasn't going to stay in the courtroom. This was going to explode. Cliffhanger. Dalton turned toward her with a slow, cold smile and whispered. You just made the biggest mistake of your life. The moment court adjourned, the room emptied fast, faster than usual. People wanted distance from the storm they felt coming. Maya stayed seated on the bench, adjusting her notes, keeping her breathing steady. But inside, something trembled, faint but real. Dalton didn't leave. He stood near the aisle, arms locked, waiting. The bailiff lingered too. He knew better than to let her walk out alone. Your Honor, he said quietly, want me to keep him back? She shook her head. No. I can handle a conversation. Conversation, the bailiff muttered. That man's a fuse looking for a match. Still, Maya rose. Smooth. Controlled. Unrattled. She walked toward the private exit. Dalton stepped directly into her path. Move, the bailiff said immediately, hand drifting toward his holster. Dalton raised both hands. Easy. I'm just talking. Maya held up a hand to stop the bailiff. It's fine. Dalton leaned in slightly, voice low. You embarrassed me. You embarrassed yourself, Maya said. He laughed under his breath. You think wearing a robe changes anything? You think I can't make calls? You think people won't listen to me? Threats won't help you. Threat? Dalton echoed. No, Judge. This is a promise. She stepped closer, close enough that he had no choice but to meet her eyes. You don't scare me, she said. Every word steady. Dalton's jaw tightened. Then he smirked. Yeah. You say that now. Before he could continue, two officers entered the courtroom from the back hallway, men in the same uniform as him. Dalton straightened. Here we go, he muttered. The officers approached quickly. The taller one spoke first. Judge Parker? You got a minute? Maya exchanged a glance with the bailiff. What's this regarding? The other officer's smile was polite, but the kind that didn't reach his eyes. We just heard there was an incident. Thought we could clear things up. Dalton stood behind them, almost smug. Maya folded her hands. Any concerns can be filed through the proper channels. The taller officer stepped closer. We figured we'd settle it informally. Off the record. No, Maya said firmly. We don't handle misconduct off the record. Dalton snorted quietly. The second officer squinted at her. With respect, Judge, it might be better for everyone if we don't escalate something small. Small. The word burned. Maya kept her voice calm. Are you suggesting I ignore what happened? Just saying things get messy when people make a big deal out of misunderstandings. Misunderstandings. Another burn. The bailiff stepped forward, chest broadening. Officers, unless you have official business, this conversation is over. The two officers exchanged a look. A silent, dismissive one. Dalton crossed his arms. You heard the judge earlier. She's reopening all my old complaints. Sounds personal to me. Sounds like bias. One officer nodded slowly. We'll be sure to mention that in our report. There it was. The trap. The threat wrapped in procedure. Maya inhaled. Held it. Released it. Then she spoke with ice-level clarity. You're free to file anything you want. and I'm free to follow the law. The officers blinked, not expecting the blowback. The bailiff stepped between them and Maya. We're done here. The officers hesitated, then turned and left. Dalton lingered. You think this ends with you winning? He said softly. It ends with the truth, Maya replied. Dalton smiled, slow and cruel. Truth depends on who writes the report. She didn't answer. She walked past him, calm, steady, unbroken. But once she entered her chambers and the door shut, her hands shook. Just a little. She sank into her chair, breathing out the tremor. A soft knock. It was Deputy Clerk Elena, a woman in her late 50s, warm-eyed, loyal. She stepped in carefully. I heard voices outside, Elena said. Is everything all right? No, Maya admitted. But it will be. Elena closed the door behind her. Judge, they're looking for weaknesses. Don't give them any. I'm not afraid of them. Elena placed a hand gently on her shoulder. Fear isn't the issue. Retaliation is. Retaliation. The word hung in the air. Maya straightened. I need the footage from the courthouse lobby. Everything from this morning. Elena nodded. I'll pull it. And I need access to Officer Dalton's complaint files. That might take time. Then we start now. Elena paused at the doorway. You're walking into a war. Maya didn't look up from her notes. I've fought harder ones. The door closed. But the moment it did, her phone buzzed on the desk. Unknown number. She let it ring. Then again. Then again. Third time, she picked up. She didn't speak. A male voice slid through the speaker, low, slick, too calm to be innocent. You made the wrong enemy, Judge. Her blood chilled. Click. The call ended. She stared at the phone, heart pounding hard enough to hurt. Then, her office lights flickered. Just once. Then went dark. For 3 long seconds the room stayed pitch black, silent except for her own breath. When the lights snapped back on, a note lay on the floor under her door. Someone had slid it there. She walked toward it slowly. Knees tight. She picked it up. 6 words. Sharp. Printed. Cold. Drop the case. Or else. Her fingers tightened around the paper. No hesitation. No retreat. Her whisper barely filled the room. Now it's war. Cliffhanger. As she turned back toward her desk, her office window caught a reflection. A silhouette. Watching her from outside. The silhouette in the window didn't move. Didn't flinch. Didn't turn. It just stood there, broad shoulders, rigid stance, staring into her chambers through the reflective glare of the glass. Maya froze mid-step, the note still in her hand. The figure remained motionless. The courthouse was on the 3rd floor. No balcony. No ladder access. No easy way for anyone to stand outside her window. Unless they weren't outside. Unless they were in the darkened hallway behind the frosted glass. Maya slowly stepped back from the window. Her voice came out steady. Bailiff? No answer. Bailiff? Footsteps rushed down the hall. The door swung open. The bailiff entered fast, hand on his weapon. Judge, what's wrong? Maya pointed at the window. But the silhouette was gone. The bailiff strode to the glass, checking angles, scanning the hallway outside. Someone was here? Yes, Maya said. They were watching. He pressed a hand to his radio. Unit 6, check the 3rd floor judge's corridor. Possible unauthorized presence. Crackling static. A response, copy. On our way. The bailiff turned back to Maya. Judge, you shouldn't stay here. I'm not running, Maya said. I didn't say run. I said this office isn't secure. She shook her head. I need to finish tonight's review. Dalton's files, the lobby footage. Judge. His voice softened. Someone gave you a threat note. Someone stood outside your chambers. That's not coincidence. Maya set the note on her desk. I won't back down. You're not backing down, he said. You're being smart. Before she could respond, her monitor flickered, static, flashing lines. Then it went black. The room felt colder instantly. Maya glanced at the bailiff. Is the building having electrical issues? No, he said. And that's what worries me. He checked the outlets, the cords, the wall panel. Nothing was tripped. Judge, someone tampered with your office tech. Maya rubbed her forehead. Of course they did. She sat again, forcing her heartbeat into a slower rhythm. The bailiff hesitated at the door. I'll stay outside until tech support arrives. She nodded. The moment he left, the silence pressed in, thick, suffocating. Maya opened Dalton's preliminary file on her tablet. The screen loaded slowly. Too slowly. A spinning wheel. A glitch. A flicker. Then. Access restricted. Her chest tightened. She tried again. Access restricted. Someone had locked her out. She slammed the tablet down. Unbelievable. A knock sounded at her door, gentle, hesitant. Judge Parker. It was Elena, the deputy clerk. Maya opened the door. Please tell me you got the lobby footage. Elena entered holding a flash drive, face tight with nerves. Yes, and no. Maya frowned. What does that mean? Elena placed the flash drive on the desk like it was dangerous. Judge, someone tried to delete the footage. Maya's blood ran cold. Was it successful? Not completely. Elena lowered her voice. The timestamp from when you entered the courthouse is gone. Gone? Eliminated, Elena said. But I managed to recover fragments. Fragments? Elena nodded. Short clips. 5 seconds here. 7 seconds there. Please tell me something is usable. A pause. There's one clip you need to see, Elena whispered. Maya plugged the drive into her laptop. The screen lit up with video. The lobby appeared. Busy. Loud. Normal. Then the clip jumped, glitched, and a group of officers entered the frame. Dalton was one of them. But it wasn't him that made Maya's breath catch. It was the man behind him. Tall. Thick beard. Staring directly at the camera. Cold eyes. Elena tapped the screen gently. Judge, look at the patch on his sleeve. The patch wasn't standard police issue. It was a symbol. A skull intertwined with a snake. A known extremist subgroup sometimes rumored to exist within law enforcement, a group that denied its own existence. Maya felt her hand tighten around the edge of the desk. Elena swallowed. Judge Parker, this is bigger than Dalton. Maya whispered, he's not acting alone. Elena nodded. He's protected. Maya closed her eyes briefly, exhaustion and adrenaline clashing in her chest. She opened them again. Clear. Focused. Elena, she said, make backup copies of this footage. Encrypt them. Store one off-site. I already did, Elena said. I figured you'd ask. A faint smile pulled at Maya's mouth. I can always count on you. Someone has to watch your back, Elena replied. Because they are watching everything you do. Maya exhaled slowly. The weight on her shoulders grew heavier. Elena hesitated. Judge, maybe you should take a security escort home tonight. I can't hide. That's not hiding. That's staying alive. Maya didn't answer. Elena placed a hand on her arm. Please. A knock interrupted them. Loud, firm, too direct. Elena jumped. Who? The bailiff opened the door halfway, breath fast. Judge, you have visitors. Who? Maya asked. He looked uneasy. Internal affairs. Maya blinked. Already? They are here for you specifically, the bailiff said. They said it's urgent. Elena whispered, Judge, that's not a good sign. 2 men entered, suits, badges, empty expressions. Judge Parker, the taller one said. Yes? We need to speak with you about a complaint filed 10 minutes ago. Maya's chest tightened. By whom? Officer Dalton. Of course. The shorter IA agent opened a folder. Effective immediately, he said, you are under review for potential judicial misconduct, conflict of interest, and abuse of authority. Elena gasped. What? That's absurd. Maya didn't blink. On what grounds? The taller agent slid a paper across her desk. This is a formal notice, he said. We're required to suspend you from presiding over Officer Dalton's cases pending investigation. Maya stared at the paper. Suspended. Stripped from the case. Exactly what they wanted. Behind the agents, the bailiff clenched his jaw. Elena looked like she might cry. But Maya lifted her chin. And signed the acknowledgement form with a steady hand. The taller agent nodded. We'll be in touch. The two walked out without another word. Elena whispered, voice cracking, Judge. Maya didn't look up. Her voice was quiet. Controlled. Deadly calm. They think this is the end. She folded the paper slowly. It's the beginning. Cliffhanger. Her phone buzzed again, another unknown number. She answered. A voice whispered, "You're off the case. Now we can do things our way." Click. For a full 5 seconds, no one breathed. Not Maya. Not Hanley. Not the gallery. Braddock's warning hung in the air like smoke. None of us are safe. Maya's mind raced. If someone higher up had wiped the files, then this wasn't about Braddock anymore. This was an entire chain of protection, power shielding power. She steadied herself. Clark, secure whatever remains from the drive. Bailiffs, detain Officer Braddock in holding. No communication. No visitors. Braddock shook his head hard. You can't isolate me. That's the worst thing you could do. Maya didn't look at him. Escort him. 2 bailiffs grabbed him, pulling him toward the exit. He twisted back, shouting over his shoulder, "They'll come for me. And if they can't get me, they'll come for you." The gallery gasped. Maya didn't flinch. But her heartbeat did. The door slammed behind Braddock. Silence pressed down on the courtroom like a hand. Hanley stood slowly. "Your Honor. I'm scared." Maya softened. "I know. They used to joke," he whispered, "about having someone upstairs watching their backs. I thought it was a lie. Or ego." His voice cracked. "But if they can wipe evidence like that." "It means," Maya said gently, "that the truth threatens them." Hanley nodded, face pale. "And that means they'll do anything." The clerk approached, clutching the drive. "Your Honor. I pulled 3 partial backups before the purge started. They're small fragments. But maybe enough." Maya exhaled. Relief. Fear. Resolve. All at once. "Secure them. Make duplicates." The clerk nodded and dashed back to her station. But before she could sit, the courtroom doors swung open. A tall man in a dark suit entered, flanked by 2 uniformed officers Maya didn't recognize. The air shifted immediately. Whispers rippled through the gallery. Maya watched them approach. The man carried himself with quiet confidence, too confident. Like someone used to being obeyed. He stopped in front of the bench and offered a cold smile. "Your Honor. I'm Deputy Chief Raymond Holt. I heard there was a disturbance." Hanley stiffened. The clerk swallowed hard. Maya kept her expression neutral. "Deputy Chief," she said, "we are in the middle of a judicial proceeding. Unless you were summoned." "I wasn't," he said smoothly. "But when an officer is detained mid-hearing, I'm obligated to intervene." Intervene. The word was a threat wrapped in protocol. Maya folded her hands. "We discovered evidence of misconduct that extended beyond Officer Braddock. As a result, I ordered him temporarily held pending further review." The deputy chief nodded, gaze unreadable. "And this evidence, where is it now?" The question dropped like a blade. Maya didn't answer immediately. Instead, she let the silence speak. The deputy chief smiled wider. "A simple question." Hanley whispered, "Your Honor, don't tell him." Deputy Chief Holt turned to Hanley. "You must be Officer Hanley, the whistleblower." The tone, soft, cordial, was somehow worse. Hanley stepped back instinctively. Maya spoke sharply. "Deputy Chief, you will not address witnesses without permission." He raised his hands in mock surrender. "Of course. My apologies." But his eyes gleamed. Predatory. He turned back to Maya. "Given the sensitivity of this situation, the department will handle the evidence review internally." "No," Maya said immediately. The gallery murmured, shocked by how fast she refused. Deputy Chief Holt blinked, amused. "No?" "You heard me," she said. "This courtroom has jurisdiction over this matter. All evidence will remain court-controlled." One of the uniformed officers stepped forward. "Sir, should we retrieve?" "No," Maya snapped. "You will not take anything from this room." Deputy Chief Holt clasped his hands behind his back. "Judge, may I offer you some friendly advice?" Maya stared at him. "I don't require it." "I think you do." His voice lowered to a silky, dangerous whisper. "You're making this much bigger than it needs to be. These are internal discipline issues. Nothing more. If you escalate this, the entire department will push back." Maya leaned forward. "Are you threatening me?" "Not at all." He smiled again. "I'm warning you. For your own good." Hanley stepped between them, voice shaking. "She's not alone." Deputy Chief Holt chuckled. You think you're safe, officer? After turning your back on your team? Hanley went pale. Maya's voice rose. Enough. You're interfering with an active judicial process. Deputy Chief Holt tilted his head. And you're interfering with my department. Attention so sharp it could cut spread across the room. The clerk whispered, Your Honor, what do we do? Maya stood. Slowly. Deliberately. The courtroom held its breath. You will leave my courtroom, she said, so I can finish the hearing you are trying to derail. The deputy chief didn't move. Maya stepped closer. This is not a request. His jaw tightened. The smirk faded. For the first time, his eyes cooled, flat, calculating. You'll regret this. Maya whispered back, I already regret not acting sooner. A beat. 2 uniformed officers glanced at Holt, waiting. Finally, Deputy Chief Holt spoke. Let's go. We'll reconvene, soon. He turned. The officers followed. But before he reached the door, he paused and looked back. Oh. And Judge. Maya didn't blink. Check your car before you drive home. The door shut behind him. The courtroom exploded in whispers. Hanley trembled. The clerk's hands shook over the keyboard. Maya stood frozen. The warning hit deeper than any threat Braddock had made. Because Holt wasn't panicking. He was planning. She closed her eyes for a second, then opened them again, hard, steady, burning. Court is not adjourned, Maya said. Not until we expose every single one of them. Then. The clerk screamed. Everyone spun toward her. On her screen, a new alert flashed. Unauthorized access in progress, court network breach detected. Maya stepped forward fast. What's happening? The clerk pointed with a shaking hand. Someone's trying to erase the backups too. Maya felt her blood run cold. The corruption wasn't outside the court anymore. It was reaching in. The phone call ended with a click so sharp it felt like a slap. Maya stayed still, the device pressed to her ear long after the line went dead. Elena spoke first, voice whisper thin. Judge, what did they say? Maya lowered the phone. They think removing me solves their problem. The bailiff stepped inside fully now, shutting the door behind him. They're escalating faster than I thought. That's the point, Maya said quietly. They're moving before I can. Elena sank into one of the chairs, hands trembling slightly. This isn't just retaliation. This is coordination. The bailiff paced once. Internal affairs showing up out of nowhere? Yeah. Someone high up is pulling strings. Maya exhaled slowly. Then we pull back the curtain. She reached for her laptop, but it was still dead. The bailiff frowned. Tech support is 2 floors down. Want me to send someone up? No, Maya said. I'll work without it. Elena stepped forward, voice urgent. Judge, they're trying to isolate you. Maya didn't deny it. Didn't soften it. They already did. A heavy silence settled in the room. Then Maya stood, straightening her robe. I need to speak with the chief judge. The bailiff's brows lifted. Tonight. Tonight, she said. Before Dalton's people write the narrative. Elena opened her planner. His office is 2 blocks away. Do you want me to call ahead? No, Maya said. If I call, someone might intercept it. The bailiff nodded. I'll drive you. But before they could step out, a sharp knock hit the door. 3 knocks. Even spacing. Firm. Official. Elena froze. Not again. The bailiff motioned them back and opened the door just enough to see. A young court runner stood outside, cheeks flushed from rushing. Message for Judge Parker, he said, holding an envelope. The bailiff accepted it cautiously. Who delivered this? Guy in the lobby, the runner said. Said it was urgent. Did he give a name? Maya asked. No. Just said the judge would know. That wasn't reassuring. The runner hurried off. The bailiff examined the envelope. No markings. No seal. Want me to open it? Maya shook her head. I will. She tore it open, pulling out a single sheet of paper. Her breath caught. It wasn't typed. It wasn't a note. It was a printed screenshot. A screenshot of the lobby footage Elena had just recovered. Zoomed in. Cropped. Focused entirely on Maya's face, and the extremist patch officer staring at her from across the room. Under the image, a line of text was typed. We see everything you do. Elena's knees buckled a little. Judge, how did they get this? Maya stared at the paper, her jaw tightening. Someone inside the courthouse knew I had the footage. The bailiff cursed softly. They have eyes in the building. Maya folded the paper, sliding it into her file. Then we moved faster. She stepped toward the door again. But Elena grabbed her wrist gently. Judge, if they're watching you, maybe you shouldn't go tonight. If I wait until morning, Maya said, Dalton's report will spread. His narrative will harden. And the chief judge will hear their version before mine. Elena swallowed. Then we go together. The bailiff nodded. I'll escort you. They stepped into the hallway. The courthouse had emptied. Echoing steps. Dim security lights. A long corridor that felt too quiet, too still. Maya walked in the middle, the bailiff slightly ahead, Elena slightly behind. Her footsteps felt loud. Too loud. Halfway down the corridor, a door slammed somewhere below them. Elena flinched. This place feels wrong. Stay alert, the bailiff murmured. They reached the stairwell. The bailiff pushed the door open. The stairwell lights flickered. Maya hesitated. We can take the elevator. No, the bailiff said. If someone wants you trapped, an elevator is too easy. He wasn't wrong. They started down the stairs. Half a flight. A few steps more. Then Maya stopped. A sound drifted up from the floor below. Not footsteps, not voices, but the unmistakable static click of a radio being keyed on. Police radio. The bailiff whispered, go back. Now. They turned. Before they could reach the landing, a figure stepped into view above them. Officer Dalton. He stood at the top of the stairs, blocking the exit, hands resting casually at his belt. Well, he said with a smile, look at this. Elena sucked in a breath. The bailiff drew himself taller. Dalton. Step aside. Dalton shrugged. Just heading out. Saw you three coming down and thought I'd say hello. Maya's voice cut sharp. You're following us. Following? Dalton blinked innocently. No, Your Honor. I just happened to be in the building late. Paperwork. He lifted a sheet of paper as if to prove it. It was blank. Maya didn't flinch. We're leaving. Dalton tilted his head. Leaving? At this hour? Must be important. The bailiff moved between Maya and Dalton. We're done here. Dalton's smile widened. You know, Internal Affairs wasn't happy. Said you're biased. Said you abused power. Maya's voice stayed centered. The investigation will prove otherwise. Oh, Dalton said softly, I'm counting on it. A new sound echoed below, footsteps, slow and heavy. The bailiff turned his head slightly, listening. Dalton's smile sharpened. Guess you've got company. Another officer appeared at the bottom of the stairwell. The same thick-bearded one from the lobby footage. Snake and skull patch on his sleeve. He looked up at them with cold, silent recognition. Dalton stretched his arms, relaxed, like everything was suddenly effortless. You see, Judge, you made this personal. The bailiff spoke quietly to Maya. Back into the hallway. Now. They began stepping backward toward the stairwell exit. Dalton didn't move. The officer below didn't move. They were trapped. 6 stairs down, 8 stairs up, no clean escape. Dalton leaned a shoulder against the door frame. Funny thing about power, he said. Once you lose it, people stop listening. He tilted his head. And right now? Nobody is listening to you. Maya's heartbeat thudded so loudly she could feel it in her fingertips. The bailiff placed one steadying hand on her back. On my count, Judge. Dalton smirked. You really think you're walking out of here without a conversation? Maya met his eyes directly, steady, defiant, unbroken. I'm done talking, Officer Dalton. Dalton's smile vanished. Elena, Maya whispered, run. The bailiff lunged forward. Dalton reached for his radio. The officer below started climbing. The stairwell erupted into movement. Cliffhanger, as Maya pushed through the stairwell door, the building's lights cut out. The entire courthouse dropped into darkness. The courtroom lights flickered. Once. Twice. Then steadied again, humming overhead like a warning. The clerk's screen flashed bright red. Breach, firewall disabling breach, backup compromised breach, system outage overridden. The clerk jumped to her feet. Your Honor, they're attacking the court network. Someone's inside our system. Maya's jaw tightened. How long do we have? The clerk typed frantically. Minutes. Maybe less. Hanley stepped in front of the bench. They're trying to erase everything, every file, every message, every recording. If the backups go, there won't be proof. Braddock walks. They all walk. The gallery buzzed with panic. Chairs scraped. People murmured prayers, curses, disbelief. Maya raised her hand. Everyone stay calm. But her voice trembled. Not from fear, from anger. They were trying to bury the truth in real time. Clark, Maya said, disconnect the drive from the network. Pull the Ethernet. Shut down the Wi-Fi. Whatever you can do. I'm trying, Your Honor. The screen flickered again. Remote wipe initiated countdown, 1 minute and 45 seconds. Hanley gasped. They've started the purge. Maya moved fast. Bailiff. Secure the courtroom doors. No one in or out. 2 bailiffs rushed to the entrances, locking them. To the gallery, Maya shouted, everybody stay seated. No phones. No recording. This is an active crime scene now. The panic simmered, but the crowd froze. Maya turned back to the clerk. What do we do? I don't know, the clerk cried. I've never seen a full system override. They're using admin credentials from inside the department. Very high level. Hanley sank into a chair. Then we're done. No, Maya said firmly. We are not. She thought fast. Hard. What existed outside the system? What about local storage? She asked. Temporary folders? Autosaves? The clerk's eyes widened. There might be fragments stored in the computer's RAM, but once the wipe finishes, even those vanish. Maya leaned in close. Then save whatever you can. The clerk nodded, fingers flying. The office lights dimmed again. A chill ran through the room. From the back row, someone muttered, this is bigger than the police. Hanley clenched his fists. We have to get the files off the machine before the countdown ends. Maya turned to the bailiff. We need an external drive. Now. He sprinted toward the equipment room. The clerk shouted, 1 minute. Maya's pulse hammered. Copy everything, she said. I'm trying, the clerk snapped. But they're blocking my access. It's like someone is fighting me on the other side. They are, Hanley whispered. They don't care about Braddock. They care about exposure. The bailiff returned, holding a stack of portable SSDs. Which one? He asked. All of them, Maya said. He handed them over. The clerk plugged in the first drive. Access denied. Second drive. Access denied. The clerk gasped. They're blocking external ports. Override it. Maya said. I'm trying. 45 seconds, someone yelled. The gallery was buzzing with terror now. A woman cried, if they can erase evidence in a courtroom, what else can they do? A man in the back yelled, Judge, they're targeting you. You need to get out. But Maya didn't move. She stood firm at the bench, hands gripping the wood until her knuckles whitened. I'm not leaving this room, she said. They want this evidence gone. That's exactly why it must survive. 30 seconds, the clerk cried. Hanley stepped beside her. Your Honor. If we lose these files, everything we've done, all the risks, none of it will matter. Maya's throat tightened. I know. He looked at her, desperate. What do we do? She closed her eyes for a breath. Then opened them sharply. Clark. Try a manual route. Create a raw disk image. Copy the IM. Dump the fragments. Anything. The clerk nodded through trembling. I can try. Her fingers slammed the keys. The laptop fans roared. Attempting raw copy. Error. Maya's stomach plummeted. Second attempt. Partially successful, 14%. Hanley leaned in. It's working. Keep going. But the screen blinked. Override incoming, admin priority. The clerk screamed, they're blocking me again. Fight it. Maya snapped. I am. The countdown hit. 12 seconds, 11 seconds, 10 seconds. Maya grabbed the bench. Hanley. Pull the power. He stared at her. What? Pull. The power. If we do, the drive could corrupt. If we don't, Maya said, it gets wiped anyway. Hanley sprinted to the wall. The clerk shouted, wait. Wait. Now. The courtroom lights flickered. Once. Twice. Then steadied again, humming overhead like a warning. The clerk's screen flashed bright red. Breach, Firewall disabling breach, backup compromised breach, system outage overridden. The clerk jumped to her feet. Your Honor, they're attacking the court network. Someone's inside our system. Maya's jaw tightened. How long do we have? The clerk typed frantically. Minutes. Maybe less. Hanley stepped in front of the bench. They're trying to erase everything, every file, every message, every recording. If the backups go, there won't be proof. Braddock walks. They all walk. The gallery buzzed with panic. Chairs scraped. People murmured prayers, curses, disbelief. Maya raised her hand. Everyone stay calm. But her voice trembled. Not from fear, from anger. They were trying to bury the truth in real time. Clark, Maya said, disconnect the drive from the network. Pull the Ethernet. Shut down the Wi-Fi. Whatever you can do. I'm trying, Your Honor. The screen flickered again. Remote wipe initiated countdown, 1 minute and 45 seconds. Hanley gasped. They've started the purge. Maya moved fast. Bailiff. Secure the courtroom doors. No one in or out. 2 bailiffs rushed to the entrances, locking them. To the gallery, Maya shouted, everybody stay seated. No phones. No recording. This is an active crime scene now. The panic simmered, but the crowd froze. Maya turned back to the clerk. What do we do? I don't know, the clerk cried. I've never seen a full system override. They're using admin credentials from inside the department. Very high level. Hanley sank into a chair. Then we're done. No, Maya said firmly. We are not. She thought fast. Hard. What existed outside the system? What about local storage? She asked. Temporary folders? Autosaves? The clerk's eyes widened. There might be fragments stored in the computer's RAM, but once the wipe finishes, even those vanish. Maya leaned in close. Then save whatever you can. The clerk nodded, fingers flying. The office lights dimmed again. A chill ran through the room. From the back row, someone muttered, this is bigger than the police. Hanley clenched his fists. We have to get the files off the machine before the countdown ends. Maya turned to the bailiff. We need an external drive. Now. He sprinted toward the equipment room. The clerk shouted, 1 minute. Maya's pulse hammered. Copy everything, she said. I'm trying, the clerk snapped. But they're blocking my access. It's like someone is fighting me on the other side. They are, Hanley whispered. They don't care about Braddock. They care about exposure. The bailiff returned, holding a stack of portable SSDs. Which one? He asked. All of them, Maya said. He handed them over. The clerk plugged in the first drive. Access denied. Second drive. Access denied. The clerk gasped. They're blocking external ports. Override it. Maya said. I'm trying. 45 seconds, someone yelled. The gallery was buzzing with terror now. A woman cried, if they can erase evidence in a courtroom, what else can they do? A man in the back yelled, Judge, they're targeting you. You need to get out. But Maya didn't move. She stood firm at the bench, hands gripping the wood until her knuckles whitened. I'm not leaving this room, she said. They want this evidence gone. That's exactly why it must survive. 30 seconds, the clerk cried. Hanley stepped beside her. Your Honor. If we lose these files, everything we've done, all the risks, none of it will matter. Maya's throat tightened. I know. He looked at her, desperate. What do we do? She closed her eyes for a breath. Then opened them sharply. Clark. Try a manual route. Create a raw disk image. Copy the IM. Dump the fragments. Anything. The clerk nodded through trembling. I can try. Her fingers slammed the keys. The laptop fans roared. Attempting raw copy. Error. Maya's stomach plummeted. Second attempt. Partially successful, 14%. Hanley leaned in. It's working. Keep going. But the screen blinked. Override incoming, admin priority. The clerk screamed, they're blocking me again. Fight it. Maya snapped. I am. The countdown hit. 12 seconds, 11 seconds, 10 seconds. Maya grabbed the bench.